The National Wildlife Federation named Seattle the best city for a happy and healthy dog and ranked it in the top 10 cities for protecting wildlife. It's thanks in large part to fundraisers. The Americans' favorite pet competition raised $9.5 million for PAWS.org. Andi Anderson with PAWS joins me now to talk about how that funding is being put to use. Welcome to ARC Seattle.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming in. We're going to talk about how that funding is put to use in just a second, but I wanted to ask you about this. What is that competition that we just talked about moments ago? What's involved?
Yeah, so America's Favorite Pet is a competition that takes place online, and people from around the country submit their pet, their dog or cat, as the potential America's favorite pet. And then there's a lot of voting that happens. People kind of rally support for their pet in the competition. And at the end of this massive competition, we crown 2 winners. This year for 2025, we have an adorable dog named Buster and a really sweet tabby cat named Gino, who have won the competition and are the 2025 America's Favorite Pets.
What type of pets are they?
They are dogs and cats.
So
Buster's, Buster's a bulldog and Gino's a tabby cat.
Cute.
Yes.
Okay. So this $9.5 million, what does that mean for an organization like PAWS? I would imagine that would have a pretty big impact. And how is that money used?
It's huge for us. It is truly transformational. This has been a really important period of growth for our organization as the needs of animals in our community change and transform, especially coming out of the pandemic.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that there are a lot of animals right now that don't have homes. We're seeing an increase in animals who are being surrendered by owners who can't keep them in those homes, primarily due to financial hardship.
Yeah.
And also too on the wildlife side, there's more and more people moving to our region. There's a lot more development. That means that human beings are encroaching into wild spaces. So we're finding there's more and more need for our services. And so with the funding from the America's Favorite Pet competition, we have been able to open our new wildlife rehabilitation center in Snohomish. It's a 25-acre facility serving everything from teeny tiny Anna's hummingbirds on up to American black bears. And that's really important for us as our region grows and changes, that we're there for those wild animals.
What's going to happen there?
We do wildlife rehabilitation for sick, injured, and orphaned wild animals. We can see up to 150 different species in a single year.
Yeah.
And we're doing everything from, feeding tiny baby birds who are just a little too young to be away from their parents. We also do things like rehabilitation, so physical therapy for eagles who need to learn how to fly again. Right now we have a black bear cub that came to us when he was just 3.5 pounds. So he was just this little tiny guy. So our team worked on feeding him, making sure he had proper nutrition. And now they've transitioned him to an indoor-outdoor enclosure where he's going to learn how to grow up and be a bear before he goes back to the wild.
Just doing amazing work.
Yeah, thank you. We think so.
Yeah, which is really exciting. What type of education programs does PAW provide? Because I know that part of this whole process is really educating the public about issues that face these types of species that a lot of us probably don't even think about, the care for bears and eagles and that sort of thing. Tell us about some of the stuff that you guys do to educate the public about that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked about that, because education is a really important part of our work. A lot of the animals that come to us, whether they're dogs, cats, or wildlife, they come to us because they've had a not super ideal interaction with humans. And so teaching the next generation how to be better to the animals around us, how to have compassion and kindness, is a really important part of what we do. So we have a program called Kids Who Care. It is a 6-week-long program where we are in 4th grade classrooms. We have a PAWS educator that goes in every week, and we take the kids through kind of an exploratory learning process where we help them identify the issues that animals are facing, and then by the end of the 6 weeks, those kids are developing their own solutions to help the animals around them. So we've had kids do things like plastic cleanups because they've learned about microplastics and how harmful those are to our environment. Or we have kids who set up pet food pantries in their community, kind of on a street corner where there's kind of a place like a little free library but for pet supplies.
Yeah.
So kids come up with all of these creative ideas, and what that shows us is that when we equip those children with the right information, they have that innate desire to make this world better for animals, and we're just helping them express that.
And as you talk about that, I'm sitting here thinking, the impact that could have long term for a 4th grader, a person of a young age, when they're getting older and thinking about the actions that they may take that may impact some of those species every single day.
Exactly, yeah, and we've actually seen that too. You know, a lot of the children who have been a part of our program, because we've been doing education for years and years, and we've seen them go on and they're majoring in biology or animal sciences, and paying that forward. They're taking on leadership positions and you know, taking this into their world and into their life, and we're already seeing the way that that has a really positive ripple for animals.
Amazing work and an amazing impact too. Thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you so much.
I know it's short and sweet. It was nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.